Hello all and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about a book, my newest release. This is the book of Omoleshtu. This is a demon whose name means he who settles the people. After 26 or 27 renderings, I have reached that conclusion. Because first the O part of the Omoleshtu can be interchangeably rendered in Hebrew as you. In so doing, we have the word Uma, meaning people, nation, which we'll later see in further depth in the etymology, the linguistics of this demon. Do notice the first and original channel name that Awul Fadak gave me was Omoleshtu. Omoleshtu is the first act of enthronement, the moment when conquest becomes law, not the word itself, but the stillness. After the dust has cleared, the silence that follows, not peace, but absolute submission. He is what remains when all resistance breaks itself and no longer dares to rise. So this manner, we have two functions of Omoleshtu. First, he is who drowns the rebellion, he who destroys resistance after the dust is settled. So you can visualize when you enter a new land and slaughter and conquer the original inhabitants of that land. You expend resistance. Omoleshtu will suppress and dissolve that resistance. Now the second, the most direct with his name faction of Omoleshtu, is he who settles the people. So you enter this land, you destroy it, you burn it down. Now you have to rebuild it. Now you have to incorporate it within your empire. And Omoleshtu is the perfect demon for this. Now, the book of Omoleshtu is written from the radiance. Every name and every hour is occupied by the demons of Omoleshtu. 24 spirits of the day and night, which are not servants, but aspects of his motionless march. Each hour carries him differently, but the core is the same. Stillness that enforces submission, not through fear, not through sheer mind, but through being. So doing, Omoleshtu works great with Amuagem. And in fact, Omoleshtu is one of Amuagagem's closest allies. They work great, they work like chains. Omoleshtu is what the world looks like when the war has been won and finished. The enemies have bowed and submitted, and the new order is not proposed, but imposed silently and simply and absolutely. This is who is Omoleshtu. Omoleshtu can also straighten your spine. What I mean by this, it can be mean in many ways. And this is connected to the submission of resistance. There is another name that I expanded and rendered in Hebrew, which perfectly resonates with Omoleshtu, the one who settles the people in these aspects, perhaps more than any other. and reveals the secret why dominion must begin with stillness. In the ancient world, the act of conquest was never complete until the people who were settled. Think the Assyrians, for example. They conquered new lands and they scattered the inhabitants into other cities and resettled the newly conquered city with new people. So there is no national identity, and resistance is greatly diminished to non-existent. He's the one who plants that victory into the bones of a nation and says, now you dwell here. He's the final hand that moves the people from wandering to rudeness, from rebellion to order, from exile to home. The opposite of house, not by destroying it, but by resolving it. He does that without shouting, without fire, without blood. He resolves that by presence. This is why the spine part that I told you before is very powerful. Because by having a strong being, a strong spine, a strong posture, you impose your will. You burn them. This is actually a Ulfatak reference. As I said before, Ulfatak appears as a hand that descends from the heavens, touches the ground of conquest and burns it. Now the once flourishing earth before conquest is burned, and the blood of the inhabitants is spilled like Bethlehem, and that blood is the fuel for the new earth after it's charred and scorched. So the new earth rises, your earth, your dominion. Now, when Omoleshtu settles the people, it's not merely geographic, although this can be taken literally. He can settle you into a new house, to a new country, he can settle others. But this is a metaphorical. This can be applied in spiritual warfare. This can be applied in psychological. This can be applied in all of manners. Now, a once-scarred multitude becomes a people. Think of the tribes of Israel that are gathered in session. He does not settle by negotiation. He does not offer compromise. He simply stands, and the people who know this is where we belong. In this way, he's like a mountain in the desert, a pillar that marks the place where the wandering ends. He is the throne beneath the tent, the sealed floor of the sanctuary. This sanctuary is a reference to the tabernacle, and the voice that says here, no feather. This is the shape of your world now. This is your land of Canaan. Go and take it. Work with Omoleshtu this form is to learn what it means to govern, not with charisma or fear, but with the authority present, authority of the Lord. He teaches you how to carry your rule in your body. This is a reference to the solidification of your God self, of bringing down heavens, of becoming God. How to make a room fall silent without the word. So this is a direct reference to presence. How to create zones of order, not by rules, but by reality. And when you embody them, others stop moving. They sense this is the center. This is the axis which everything else must turn. I wrote the book of Omoleshtu. He who settles the people. I did not write a map of war. I wrote the blueprint of settlement. It is a book that comes after burning, after the conquest, after the plagues. It is the book that says, now we build the home, the house, the temple. Now we establish the law. Now we see what we've taken. Omoleshtu is not just a king. He is the kingdom, not as a territory, but as a state of being. He is not the one who conquers the land, which is Hawulfadak and Lisafak, the demons, but the one that makes the land into home when its presence is invoked, the wandering ends, not just bodies, but identities. You know who you are. You know where you stand. You are no longer in motion. You are Omoleshtu.